right, so we are here at PCA 2022 with Founders Cigars with Angelo, and I'm having a brain fart right now.
Brian.
That happens. I'm tired.
It's okay. I forgive you.
You've done like
We
35 of these.
I know. PCA is an exhausting show.
Absolutely.
It's an exhausting show.
How many cigars have you smoked already?
At least 30 in the past 2 days, and we're halfway through the second day.
It's good.
So, yeah, not a bad thing. Not a bad thing.
Not at all.
So, of all the people here that we haven't met in person and on Instagram and online have interacted with the most, it's probably you guys.
So
We've from the day we found out about you guys, you reached out when we were in Minneapolis,
Yeah.
and then connected ever since. So take us back to the beginning of who you guys are, what the brand is, what your mission is.
Yeah, I think just a brief background on Brian and I. We come from the business development world.
Okay.
So we do business development in the firearms industry, and we decided that we wanted to build something for ourselves. And if we stayed in the firearms industry, we would have competed with a lot of our clients.
Right.
And cigars was something that was big in my life, and Brian was a cigar smoker. And so I came in the office one day, and I had been researching cigars and factories and everything that we needed to do this. And I asked him, I said, what do you think about cigars?
And I said, I like cigars. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and I was like, no. What do you think about a cigar company?
Right.
And his response was awesome.
I said, as long as we don't lose money and as long as it's not a distraction to our core business.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm in.
And not to deviate from this, we're going to get back. The core business is what? What's your background?
So my background, I used to work for a software company.
Yes.
So Angelo's the visionary. He's come up with the idea. He's definitely the brains. I would say my role is operations. I'm an ops guy. I'm an integrator and an executor. So the background is I've worked for various firearms manufacturers in the industry. Before we went into business together to do business development,
right.
Then I have an ops background working for gun manufacturers.
Okay. And so,
Yeah.
back to cigars.
Back to cigars. Don't lose money and don't let it be a distraction from our primary focus. We're still working on both of those goals.
It's going to be an eternal struggle.
Yeah, but
They say it takes 15 years to build a brand in the cigar industry.
yeah, something like that.
We're going to do it in 2.
Yeah, doing it in 2, but
You did it.
yeah, we're here. I mean, the big thing for us was I don't remember exactly what the point was, but we launched at an event as a marketing tool for one of our clients. And at this event, it was a major gun event down in Georgia. And there was $500 million manufacturers, new product releases, and all those things going on. But people kept talking about the cigar guys because we put this cool presentation together for that. And so and they kept asking, these are awesome. Where do we get more of them? What shops are you in? It's like, we're kind of just building this in the background right now. And at that point, we were like,
well, tell them what we did.
Okay, so what we did, our dual wrap is the first cigar we launched with, and we called it our signature. So we took a Churchill, and we put it in an acrylic tube, a 7-inch acrylic tube, and we were with a silencer manufacturer, and the 22 suppressor was a 1-inch diameter, 6 inches long, and so we took a 7-inch diameter, or 7-inch long, 1-inch diameter tube, put a sticker on it, made it look like a suppressor, put it in the suppressor box, and handed it out to 50, 100 influencers. So they open up this swag bag, and there's an actual suppressor box.
You did this at a show, right?
Yeah,
At a
well,
firearms?
it was at the Epic Shoot, which is in
Big Daddy
Savannah,
Unlimited
Georgia.
Epic Shoot. And so all these guys were like, oh my goodness, like it looked up until the point where you opened it looked like you were getting a suppressor.
Right.
And so there's some long-standing relationships we had from that event in 2020 where a guy walked up to us, Rob Pincus, he's fantastic. You need to interview him for your magazine. He walks up to our booth, he's like, all right, gentlemen, you have my attention. What do I need to see? So it was a great tool for that client, but then the response from that was, this is fantastic. The brand is fantastic. And so
we knew we had something, but we didn't really know what we had, right? I mean, it was kind of we like to tell our clients, everyone has a shower thought. And so it's all in the execution. Yeah. And so really it was an opportunity for us we kind of had half-assed, sorry, can I say ass?
You can say whatever you want.
Okay,
it's
so
ATF.
we kind of half-assed went to market, right? And then doing this Epic shoot, it was just an opportunity to help bolster our client and drive traffic to their vendor table.
Yeah.
And through that, we kind of were known as the cigar guys at the event. And they did, it was kind of an exclusive, big influencer event. At the end of the day, they close the range, but then they cater. They bring in, it's an open bar, and they bring in some barbecue trucks. And
perfect.
We're all
So good.
hanging out, drinking bourbon and smoking our cigars.
Yeah.
And that was when it was just huge. The response we got was incredible. And we came back from that event, and it was like,
All
we
right,
can't ignore this.
we
This
gotta-
isn't
we gotta
like,
do this.
let's just do this in the
Did that audience already know you from the firearm industry?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So we have a lot of what you call it, social equity.
Yeah.
Within the gun industry.
Right.
We work with multiple manufacturers. We were there with one client, which is a suppressor manufacturer, and they were up and coming.
Yeah,
And
so we just tried to do something. What can we do to support our client and make a splash?
Right.
And there was a splash, and we took that. We said, okay, there's something here. I mean, the founding fathers theme for the brand. So many people in the gun industry responded to that, obviously. And so we came back from that, and then we really took the next 6 to 9 months and refined our processes, the factory stuff, the bands, the boxes, the
and that's what we're
cello,
really
and-
good at. Those are the things, the practical things of building a company that our clients lack, and that's where we really fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
And so those practical pieces, that's where we thrive.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so those things that maybe some of these other cigar companies, might have struggled in, those are the things that we executed very well.
We'd made a living on providing all the business services around a product or an idea.
Yeah.
So we already had that framework, and now we were just applying it to
Just
cigars.
implementing it in a different
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the origin story behind that, and then just really took the time to make sure. We also, at that time in 2020, people were getting killed by supply chain.
Yep.
So we knew that if we came to market and we brought on retailers and they were like, great, here's my order. It's like, oh shoot, that was bigger than we thought. It's going to be 12 weeks before you get that. We were going to kill ourselves. We weren't going to be able to sustain a brand. So we spent way too much time building the infrastructure, which I think was a strength of ours, just to make sure that we were ready to go.
What was that like starting a new business during
During
yeah, just
a nightmare? No, it was one of those things where we had no idea what we were getting into. We didn't know what shouldn't work.
yeah.
So
we have a lot of hypothesis.
Yeah.
And some of them work, some of them don't, but that's literally what we're doing is
we talk all the time. One of our primary goals on the show is we just want to gather more data points than we had before.
Yeah.
We need to make informed decisions. What's stopping us from making informed decisions? Like, we just need more data. And luckily in the cigar industry, so many people have been very forthright about information that it's just it's been fantastic to learn and grow.
Yeah, this industry is a lot different than the gun industry. Gun industry, definitely, you have a lot of AR-15 manufacturers, right?
Yep.
And, the market is saturated, as you might know. And so they're
market
all
share is very protected and very competitive.
A lot of cutthroat, very competitive, and it's crazy the how welcomed we felt as a new brand, and in this industry. And it's like no one has the same palate.
Right.
Everyone enjoys different cigars, and so for us to just be up and coming cigar brand, we were very welcomed. Luis from Casa Cuevas, I mean, the amount of time he spent basically opening up his playbook to us was incredible.
Yeah.
And so that has been the overwhelming welcome of us being a new brand. I mean, it's like we're just, what we're trying to do is build community. We like to tell people that we are a community company first.
Right.
We're serving it to
The
you
community
as a
cigar.
Yeah. Hashtag the community cigar. But what we're doing is we're bringing more new smokers into the community. Or at least we feel like we're doing that, which just helps everyone else out.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's a huge goal of the magazine.
Yeah.
Is taking 3 very controversial industries that we all love, and figuring out how do we first take people who are not associated with any of them and introduce them to it.
Yes.
And that I think starts with building a community around it and educating.
That's when I stumbled on your Instagram. I'm like Angelo.
It's because we've joked that because we're in firearms and tobacco, we kept joking about how
we're going to come out with
a bourbon line, and then we'd be the ATF.
Yeah.
And then we saw this magazine, and we're like, oh, dang it.
They beat us to it.
Someone did it
Right.
before we did.
Well, you can still do the
Here's
bourbon. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I saw Matt Booth post something, and he's on the cover of the first
Edition.
issue, or what do you call it? whatever,
Sure.
right? And I'm like,
Thing.
this is my snap reaction was that Matt Booth came out with ATF magazine.
Right.
And I'm like, damn it, he beat us to it.
Yeah.
Were you wanting to do a publication at some point?
No, I mean, but
No, but just the idea of having
for sure.
a family of brands
Yeah.
Yep.
around the ATF concept.
because we're the cigar guys in the gun industry, right?
Right.
And then we're here in this, at PCA in the cigar
You're
industry.
gun guys in the cigar industry.
We just
Yeah,
need
yeah.
bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you gotta round it out with getting an alcohol brand.
Yeah,
For sure.
Or partner with
for sure.
what is it, Jefferson?
Yeah, Jefferson or some of the
That'd be
some of
cool. That'd be
the
cool.
founding father brand feels.
And so your mission as a brand has been pretty clear as it's a servant mindset for those who serve. And that's like our motto for our business as a publisher is relentlessly serving those who serve.
Yeah.
And we keep seeing that theme within these industries, partially because just the way they take military, the way they service the military, through companies like yours and Cigars for Warriors,
Which was the first phone call we made.
Yeah, we talked to the team, the Storm and the team over there.
Yeah.
I mean, Cigars for Warriors. I tell people my first cigar was on a deployment over 20 years ago.
Right.
And the experience and the community that brings to servicemen and women that are deployed to combat places all over the world. I mean, it was important for us to partner with Operation Cigars for Warriors and
Yeah.
be able to make monthly donations to them
Yeah.
and continue to do that as we grow.
Yeah.
Right. And so the other side of the publication is how do we take someone who maybe they love whiskey or love shooting and don't know about cigars? How do we introduce them to the brand without saying, here, smoke this, and not giving them a story? And there can be great cigars or firearms or alcohol, whatever it would be, that have a cool story, the product doesn't quite back it up, or the other way around. And having a great story, great product, and then a mission behind it
Yeah.
is the icing on the cake, and you guys
Yeah.
are doing that.
Yeah, and it's funny because when we developed the core line that we had, we came out with 4 first offerings. We wanted to make sure that because we're so community focused,
Yeah.
I wanted our Maduro. We wanted our Maduro, which is everyone thinks of a Maduro as a dark, deep, oily cigar. You're gonna wake up with it. We wanted to make sure if you're a brand new smoker and you get invited to a group that's smoking and someone hands you our Maduro, we wanted to make sure, because we're so community focused, that was going to be something that was smooth, approachable,
Yeah.
medium bodied, good flavored. You weren't going to wake up with it. It was going to be a good experience for even a brand new smoker. So we tried to work that community aspect into almost everything that we do. And that word approachable, second to community, is probably the one that we use the most. Approachable is we want to be approachable. We want our brand to be approachable. We want the product to be approachable. We want our processes to be approachable. So that's something that we've really taken to heart.
I told Angela the other night that I want what we think about Lewis from Casa Cuevas.
Yeah.
What I want us to be remembered like Lewis.
Oh, yeah,
that would
absolutely.
be our primary goal,
Yeah.
with just being so humble, so personable, and approachable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. So walk us through your brand, your line.
Yeah, we launched with 4. And again, Brian touched on it. We have a hypothesis.
Yeah.
It just means just an educated guess. We've got an idea. We've got an educated guess. Let's run with it. So we looked at it like, all right, we should have the most common ones. A Connecticut, a Maduro. Let's have a Habano in the middle. And then we launched with
This
that.
guy's wearing a bunny suit over here.
Oh, yeah. Have you guys met him?
No.
Oh, I'll introduce you later.
Okay.
Here's the story.
That's so good. But then our dual wrap, we launched with that one first because every cigar across the room looks the same.
Yeah.
And every cigar in a humidor relatively is a brown cigar in a brown box. So at least having that dual wrap is a way for us to differentiate ourselves. And if someone sees the two wrappers on that's different.
Yeah.
And then on all of our bands is we have like the parchment feel, very clean, with a silhouette of a historic U.S. figure. All of our blends are named after historical U.S. figures. So our whole thing was we wanted to have that unifying feature on the bands of just having that silhouette where,
Yep.
again, you're never going to pick me out of like 30 feet from here. I don't know what cigar he's smoking, but if we're sitting in a circle and you see that silhouette, at least we can try to be associated now with a constant design element of a silhouette on all of our bands.
Right.
Yeah, and my feedback too is that there's a lot of cigar bands where you unless you have it like up in your face, you're trying to figure out whose cigar that is.
Right.
And Angela hit it on the nuts, trying to stand out in a crowd.
I mean,
Yeah.
you did when we were at the reception the other night. I knew you guys were going to be there. I was looking for you. Spotted you across the room. Ashing all over myself. Spotted you across the room with the hat. with the silhouette.
Okay.
It's like it sticks out.
Yes.
It
Well, he's
absolutely
also
sticks
6'5".
out.
So
Yeah,
that helps.
you're not Omar from.
no, not Omar, but
you're
I
tall.
definitely have a big dumb frame, kind of stand out in the crowd. So
But yeah, I mean the branding is perfect.
yeah,
It really sticks out.
I tell you, we got lucky. It was just an idea, and it's been incredibly well received. Yeah.
What are you guys excited about next?
The first thing that came to mind is the next 20 years.
Okay.
The cigar industry is not a quick industry.
No.
And everything that we do, we're impatient. We want things to happen fast. We want this to change and that to change and this to roll out and this to be developed. But we've tried to adopt a mindset that's been, what's our 20-year focus, not our 20-day focus,
Yep.
and make decisions based off that. I've got 4 sons. Brian's got 2 sons and a daughter. I anticipate all my kids know that I own a cigar company, and they're really excited about it. You walk around here, you see family owned. You see grandpa, son and
5th generation.
grandson, and so you see this everywhere, and that's special to me. And I see that, and I go, okay, I need to make decisions based off the next 20 years.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what I'm most excited about is how do we do things in the beginning that are going to last for the next 20 years,
Right.
and how do we build a reputation that's going to last for the next 20 years? So
Stay consistent.
yeah, so I think I'm excited about the development of the brand,
Yep.
but I also keep that in mind with the overarching theme of the next 20 years.
Yeah, a big piece of that is like you roll out a new product or you have a new hypothesis, being able to say like that didn't work. Let's try a new way, and low and slow
Yeah.
is the key.
That's what my wife says to me when I'm talking to my kids. You got to get down low on their level and talk slow.
Yeah, I mean that applies with more than just kids. That's
Yeah, and the gun industry is slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So
right.
absolutely. So
Right. Well, we're going to do everything we can with the magazine to promote you guys.
yeah,
We'd love to keep working with you guys in the future.
yeah,
We love your mission.
Let's do a podcast.
We should do a podcast. Yeah, it's a great idea.
absolutely.
But I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited for what's coming next. And
We're just happy to be here. We're very thankful you reached out, and we were able to meet each other
Thank
in
you.
person
Me
and make
too.
this happen.
very cool. Thank you.
Yeah.